Well, here it is Friday, and we got our weekly export sales numbers out a day late because of the holiday on Monday. They didn't seem to be awfully exciting. We did have an overnight export sale of 132,000 tons of soybeans once again to China, just a repeat of what we had yesterday. Again, I don't know if the market will get too excited about it because we have the supply and demand report coming up at 12 Eastern time and 11 o'clock Central. Let's see how the markets are opening up this morning. Let's go to the big board and our quotes provided by bar chart. We have December corn, about 3/4 cent lower at 509 1/4. Kind of sleepy here. The deferred contracts 1 to 2 lower. On the soybean trade right now, you have the November contract 4 1/4 higher at 1274 3/4. Well, that would be about 2 cents from our overnight high, so it does have that going for it here this morning. Checking in on wheat, let's go to Chicago December, and we're down 4 cents at 688 1/4. Now that would be within 3 cents of our low of the overnight trade, and we're off of our overnight high now by about 7 cents. Now in the Kansas City market here so far today, you have December wheat down 2 1/4 at 680 1/2. Minneapolis spring wheat trade so far has a price on December that's 8 1/4 lower at 864 1/4. I want to call on Chris Swift, and he's with Swift Trading in Nashville. And Chris, we have the big report coming up a little later on today, of course. And it seems to be overshadowing everything else that could be impacting the markets here today, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. It's going to be a big report, Marlin, and simply because the USDA is anticipated to make a change in the planted acres number. So we're all anxious to see if they do or not, and then really where those additional acres were planted. If they were in the drought states of North Dakota, South Dakota, and Minnesota, and they don't change the harvested acres, then we know that most of that was probably planted for an insurance purpose of some kind. So the real interesting part will be where those acres are planted.
Exactly. Now, when you look at a chart on December corn, for example, how oversold is that market right now, or is it?
You know, it's not really bad because this has not been a deluge. We've not just sold off dramatically. It's just been kind of one day after the other. We'll set a couple of new cents low for the corn market, and the bean market has really held pretty stout. We saw that the meal market a little bit firmer this morning, and the bean oil, which has been the leader of the complex for so long, just a little bit softer again today.
So let's take a look at that on the soybean oil trade this morning. It looks like the October contract down 23 points. We're now at 55.83 this morning. And on the soybean meal trade, well, we currently have the October contract up $1.90 at 337 even. And that would be per ton, of course. Now, I did want to point out the crude oil market. Well, it looks like it's at it again today. Now it's to the upside with triple-digit gains. Look at this, October 69.64, and that is up $1.50. Any updates, Chris, on when we may get that Gulf opened up?
No, I've heard several different things within a week to 2 weeks, but I really don't know. It's only in certain parts that is really being hampered. It's not the entire area. So I think that there is some commerce still taking place down there. It's just slow.
Okay, that it is. All right, Chris, we'll come back and we'll open up our livestock trade. The cattle and the hog market's coming up next. Well, we're talking with Chris Swift of Swift Trading in Nashville. Chris, we got the beef and pork export sales numbers out this morning. Just quickly, I wanted to get your thought on that, on if you thought they were constructive or not today.
Notice that beef prices have remained really high, and even pork prices to an extent remain elevated. So, no, I don't think they were very exciting, and I think price has a lot to do with that.
Well, let's take a look at how we're opening up this morning. On the live cattle market, you have the October 20 cents higher, now 17 higher at 123.92, and December live cattle are up, wowee, one tick, 2.5 cents higher at 128.82. That's exciting. Well, let's look at the feeder cattle market and see what's going on there. Any sign of life? Not really. October down 85 cents at 158.40. November down 65 at 160.57. Boy, you know, this feeder cattle market, that has really taken on a real ominous chart pattern here in the last few weeks. How oversold is that thing?
It's getting to be pretty oversold, but in all honesty, we haven't met the convergence of basis yet. So even though it may seem oversold, we've lost the momentum of the cattle feeder to continually bid higher for inventory, and now that a lot of those yearling cattle are gone and some of the lesser desired are coming on, those are coming on at lower prices. That'll impact the index lower, and the futures have no choice other than to continue to trade lower until they converge with the index.
Okay, let's take a look at our lean hog market activity this morning and see what's going on over there. So far on the lean hogs, it looks like we have the nearby October down a dime, and we have the December down 40 cents at 79.07. From the pork and the lean hog perspective here this morning, that has been a market that has been kind of caught in one of those wedge formations, but where does it stand technically right now? Is it kind of neutral?
Yeah, it is, because it's still within the range, and we're only doing anything but converging basis there. The lean hog index just about every day is down 50 cents to $1. We're still carrying an $11 discount to the October contract, so really all that can happen is that October just continue to stay sideways as that index begins to work its way down to that price.
I did want to touch on the cutout values on the beef and the pork side from yesterday afternoon, according to USDA. And on the beef cutouts, we had negative numbers again. We were down $2.28 on the choice cuts. They were priced at $332.58 yesterday. And selects were down $1.72 at $296.45 per hundredweight. Meanwhile, on the pork side, well, we had carcass values going down $1.70. They were priced at $108.70. We had the loin values actually gaining $8.21, kind of all by themselves. Ham market took it on the chin, though. It was down $10.13, and the belly market was down a couple of bucks, down $2.32, finishing at $162.51 in that afternoon update. Well, Chris, thanks for joining us here this morning. Always good to hear from you. I appreciate it, and happy Friday to you. Chris Swift of Swift Trading in Nashville. We're up and running. Janet, back to you.